The challenge of sharing files in the modern age is users and data like to find a way. So it's not enough to just say, no, that's not something we want you to do, it's insecure. We have to find great ways that have a great UI and a great experience for the user, but then are balanced with a lot of the controls that we expect in the general enterprise. Increasingly, users are having this great experience of handling files and calendars and even email in consumer-based tools. In the traditional enterprise, we would always want to push back on that and say, hey, it's not ready for the enterprise, it doesn't have the same security features. It's important for us now as enterprise IT and security departments to respond to that and understand that that great experience is not something you can say no to. We have to find ways to enable it and still provide that protection over our data, over our customer data and our employee data. As we looked at rolling out this type of a service with Syncplicity, we looked at the difference between a managed user and kind of sharing between two internal employees, and then the different use cases where we're actually looking to share files with an external entity and making sure we had a great seamless experience when it was employee to employee because they're both registered, they're on managed devices, but yet when we wanted to share on the outside, we were able to do things like expire links or set an additional password for that user that is more unknown and more of a guest user. The other thing that made us more comfortable here was we have a hybrid service. So part of the service that controls the sharing sits out in a true cloud environment, and the data that we're most concerned about, the files themselves, sit within an on-prem storage environment that we can more tightly control access to the files themselves. The final deployment that we have is a fine balance between that great experience, a fantastic UI that people want to use, balanced with the kind of smallest amount of security hurdles that give us the greatest amount of protection. So having a kind of tight level of controls that differentiates between an employee to employee sharing files versus an employee to a customer or partner, having the files on-prem and the true cloud service hosted externally, and the ability to expire links. We've given people a lot of optional control over how and when they share data that's in the user's hands and not something we're mandating internally. So post-deployment of Syncplicity, we've managed to continue the protection of data that we had in the enterprise and managed to extend that out, put a lot more tools in the hands of users of how they collaborate and interact with data, and also given them some choice around the protection that they can apply to the right kinds of data, while still keeping a very solid baseline of protection.